Hey guys, it's Brick Picture Productions here with yet another nostalgic Lego Star Wars review. This is the 2007 Lego Imperial Landing Craft, or set number 7659. Back in 2007, this set retailed for $50, came with 471 pieces and 5 minifigures. Adjusting for inflation in 2019 money, this set would retail today for $60. The price per piece back in 2007 was just over 10 cents per piece, and the price per piece in today's money, if you adjusted for inflation, would be almost 13 cents per piece. So it's quite a high price per piece for even modern standards, I would say. So without further ado, let's get right into the minifigures. Here we have our first minifigure here. This is the Imperial pilot that they included. You get one of these. This figure has very basic printing, just a nice, very basic belt and breathing apparatus with a kind of silvery texture, and then just some hoses on the top as well. Very, very basic. And then, of course, the nice Stormtrooper molded helmet, which is not accurate to canon. They actually have different helmets, but in this era, Lego didn't care, obviously. So it has a nice Imperial signet on the top, and that's all the printing it has. It has no printing on the visor whatsoever. I always thought that was very, very weird. No leg printing, and you don't even get back printing. So, it's a very basic figure. And if you're wondering what's underneath the helmet, just a black stud. So I don't think they could go any more basic than this unless it is a battle droid or something. So let's get to the next one. So here we have our next minifigure. This is just a plain Stormtrooper. You get two of these. It included just a regular medium-sized blaster, and it has no leg printing, just the basic Stormtrooper print from the early to kind of late 2000s. The helmet is very basic as well. Nothing special here, except on this helmet, it's just a black line as the mouth. They don't even have the gray details that they added later to the Stormtroopers of this era. So I thought that was pretty cool. See, again, nothing too special at all. It actually does have back printing though, so that's kind of cool. Nice armor design. Again, it's very basic, but this is a very early Star Wars set. And underneath it is just a black stud, and again, you do get two of these. Our next minifigure that we have is the Sand Trooper. This figure is identical to the other Stormtrooper we just looked at, except it has an orange and black pauldron that goes under in its neck joint, and that's really it. It gave you long blasters for these, and again, you do get two of these figures. No backpacks, nothing special, a very basic Sand Trooper. I do like the pauldron though, and that is it for the minifigures. So now that we've gotten the minifigures out of the way, let's get to the actual set itself. Starting with the front cockpit, you will see underneath it you will have some trans neon cones, which, look pretty cool. They're designed to simulate blasters. They don't actually do anything. They're just kind of there, but I thought I'd mention those. This cockpit does actually move up and down very slightly. It doesn't really stay. It's kind of on a hinge mechanism. So, it is what it is. And to actually access this here cockpit, all you do is take this glass piece off, and revealing the actual cockpit, you will see it has a nice printed tile on there. It's a nice OG printed title, not a sticker or anything, and then just some trans red grills and cheese slopes. Nothing overly detailed in there. And to put the pilot in, all you gotta do is sit them down and put them right on some studs. Try to get that in, and then put your glass piece right back on, and then that's how he looks inside. Kind of hard to see since it's a black trans glass piece and a black pilot, so it kind of blends into the whole black effect, I guess. And then of course in the front as well, you're going to see that it has some types of missiles sticking out with some more trans neon cone pieces. And this is actually the first major function of this set. All you do is you see this trans cone that is actually sticking out more. You push that in, and it will fire a missile. We'll get to the mechanism when we get to the actual inside, but it will fire these nice, kind of the first spring-loaded shooter ever, I guess. Underneath, you'll just see these nice landing gear pieces. They used these on all the OG space sets back in the day, and they carried that over on here for sure. I think it's pretty cool. They should have gone a little bit more detail, but you know, it is what it is. On the side, you'll see that we got some nice, you know, slope-like pieces that curve into these. I don't know what these pieces are actually called, but I know these are actually pretty rare in this color. They go for about 50 cents each, and there's 6 of them in this set, so you do the math there. Then of course we could actually look on top as well, and you'll actually just see this kind of fin-like effect here. Kind of looks like a shark's fin, I guess. The only complaint I have about this is it's not all white. It's kind of weird with the white, gray, dark, bluish gray color scheme. You know, that's my only complaint about that fin. It doesn't really serve any other function except aesthetics. You can't really grab the set on with it. You can, but if you start swooshing it around and everything, it will come off. It's only on like a couple stud connections, so it does not serve as a handle. Now let's get actually into the next function of the set, which is these red hinges underneath. There was one in the front and one in the back, and what you do is you actually just lift it up. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. I'll try to take this cockpit off so I could show you, but just lift it up as so, and you do the same with the back. And then of course that once you get both those hinges off, all you do is lift, and the whole top half comes off. This is going to be left behind, and it simulates just to leave it there to land the troops. It's obviously completely not canon, but I think it's a cool play feature nonetheless. That build can fly off in its form as so. I think it looks really goofy, and it's definitely a little flimsy. You know, it's really hard to grab onto it like this because there's no real solid structure. But we'll get more into this build here after we review this. So here we have the actual troop bay. This is where the front cockpit was. You'll see those missiles, which we'll get to the mechanism right here. You'll see that it actually has just this contraption that can be pushed in with the the trans green piece, and it will fire this. So obviously this missile's been fired, so obviously it's not firing right now. You'll also see inside there are 2 chairs for your minifigures to sit in, which we'll demonstrate here in a minute, and some nice tile modified with a stud in the middle to put your weapons on too. So it has storage for all 4 weapons for your minifigures, and you could actually fit all 4 minifigures in this set as well. We will demonstrate that right here. We'll just put one minifigure right here. It's your regular stormtrooper, and then just another minifigure we will put standing right here. And of course, you could put the other 2 in those corresponding spots. I'm not going to do that here in the video. We want to keep this concise. And then there's also these trans green cones on the back. Now, these are actually bombs, according to the set, of course. You know, you just pull this lever, push this lever down, and it will have these bombs slide out this nice slope piece. I think that's a nice feature. It doesn't always work. They kind of fall out if you sometimes they even get jammed. You know, it's a nice feature, but you know, was it necessary? I don't think so. So let's get back into the rest of the build really quickly. So here we've connected the build right back on again. If you don't want to disconnect it all the time, you could also lift these up all individually, and you could kind of access this troop area. You could reload the bombs from there, but you can't really get to the troops in the chairs very easily. So I think that's why they made it detached like this. I wish these would be connected. It's kind of awkward to line them up when they're like all disconnected like that. But other than that, they're pretty cool. Here is the back view. You'll have these nice dish trans blue dishes in the back, as well as, my cockpit actually just fell off, but we're not interested in that right now. Also have these nice wings that do actually fold in up and down. We'll get to that in a moment. Again, the dark bluish gray and dark light bluish gray color scheme with the white. It doesn't really work in my opinion. I think it looks kind of trashy, you know, kind of an aging Imperial set. And then underneath you'll have this nice Technic mechanism that you could see quite easily, but if you twist this as so, the wings themselves will fold in like this, and then you have your wings in landing mode, and we'll put it out again and put them in flight mode. I think this is a really cool Technic mechanism. I really like it, but I wish they would have hit it a little bit better. You could see all these gears, you know. But that is what it will look like in flight mode, and we'll get the cockpit on real quickly to show you. So this is what it kind of looks like in flight mode. I know it's a little hard to see. It's kind of maxing out my light box here, but this is what it'll look like. Really, really cool. Again, the colors are very off-putting. That's my only complaint about this set is the colors, but I actually modded this and swapped up the colors that I'll be doing in another video in the future, and I'll even compare the two, but that's for another video. Let's get into the final thoughts. So my final thoughts on this is that it was good for its time, but up to modern standards it's quite lacking. It needs definitely the all white color scheme. This gray, dark gray and light bluish gray is just not working. In terms of value, it's very, you know, it's got a high price per piece, especially with inflation. You could really get this on eBay for about 50 bucks, so it is still about 10 cents per piece. But you know, there is another one out right now, and I think that one is far superior to this one in its current form. In terms of playability, this one definitely has more, but the new one has more aesthetics. So it depends on what you want to go for. If you want to go for functionality, this one. If you want to go for aesthetics, go for the new one. So with that, guys, that concludes my review. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe for more LEGO Star Wars content to come, and peace out.